Every Christian cares about people. But the Christians that go to my church have lives. They've got children, they've got jobs, they've got stuff going on. When they find out sister so-and-so or brother so-and-so's in the hospital, they may call or go by, but 9 times out of 10, their week gets busy and they forget. And a lot of times they think to themselves, I can't do all of this on my own, and they end up not doing anything. What Circles of Care does is it puts them with another group of people, and it divvies up, it sort of divides the responsibility between them. So no one person has to feel like, oh, I've got to do all this myself. It becomes something small, it's little, it's okay, I mark it on my calendar the day that I'm going to go by or something like that. It makes it easier for a person to know that yes, they are involved in service, they do care about people, and so it gives them that good feeling. But I think it's something that will continue probably for years to come. It's an easy way for us to get involved with helping people and to see the results right away.
Too often, I think the person with cancer or another serious illness is really stretched to the limit and forced to focus their energy on the illness and on the treatment for the illness instead of being able to be a whole person. And when they get the support they need, it really is transforming.
You walk out of a doctor's office in shock, and you don't know which way to turn, and you don't know what you're supposed to do, and all you know is what you've heard about this illness in the past. And I'm sorry. So if you have someone in your corner, and this was, like I said, it's not a family member, it's not anybody that I knew before, it's the Circles of Care. And I think that that's a perfect name for what they do, because it's a whole circle of people that's wrapping their arms around you, saying that we're going to help you through this. I'm going to put what I know, and she's going to put what she knows, and he's going to put what he knows, and we're going to intertwine it all together. And in the end, you're going to have a group of people that really care about you, that's going to do everything within their power to see that you get through this. And it's wonderful.
Sometimes we feel that when it comes to really supporting a person who is sick or even at the end of life, we look to the professionals to do that. So we expect that the senior pastor or the MD will be the one to provide that kind of care, sometimes the chaplain. But the beautiful thing about support teams is that laypersons are really, in my mind, I really hope that they feel affirmed in the gifts that they bring to that capacity. And so not only are they giving the gift to the friend and the family, but I also believe that they are being validated in what that means, that they're being sort of able to use their spiritual gifts in that way, but also they're validated by other members of their support team and sharing that work together.
And I was taking her to chemo, and we was just talking, having fun and, just general conversation. And then it got quiet, and I just happened to look over there, and she was crying. And I'm like, okay, Lord, what's going on? So we pull aside, and I said, what's going on? And she said, well, my brother passed. And she didn't know what she was going to do, so I just assumed that she was close. And so just experiencing that, and she allowed me to experience that. So to me, that was like a trust that she had with me, that she just could just let it go. And she really let it go. And I said, okay, then just don't hold it in. I said, holding it in is not going to help. Just go head on and cry, and we're just going to see it. And if you need to talk about it, we'll talk about it. If you don't want to talk about it, then we won't talk about it. And so she just said, and she just cried and cried and cried and cried. And I'm just saying, okay, Lord, after all this is, my part in it, what am I supposed to do? So my part was just to let her cry and just experienced that with her. And so she kept on crying, so I started crying. And so to me, the whole the whole thing with her is a good experience.
You know, I really feel like when Dr. Hansen asked me to be a part of the project, it seemed like a very natural thing to want to get involved in. Because contrary to popular belief, doctors do worry, you know, what's going to happen to this patient when I send them home? And it was a nice way to help me fill in those blanks in my mind.
You normally go with the idea of are they in the hospital or at home, and so you were there just on a solo visit. But now, being in a circle of care with other people and being able to discuss the person and how you visited them and what they're asking for, that to me was the most important thing. The person who is ill is asking for certain things. It might be a meal, it might be a Bible study, it might need to help with their flowers, or so we learn more about the person separate and distinct from their illness.
I think a team concept is a great idea because as humans, we all have different skill sets. There are some people who are very organized. There's some people who are better child care providers. There's some people who are just great cooks. There's some people who drive well. There are also people who provide good quality spiritual support.
And thou hast destroyed cities. The memorial is perished with them. But the Lord shall endure forever. He has prepared his...
I'm not in a situation like I was, you know. They lift me up from being down, you know. And so it just a whole lot. It just means a whole lot to me because I could tell the difference in myself.
I have seen a difference in the personalities. I have seen a difference in their faith and their belief from when we first started working with them and coming to participate in their lives and to be of, to help and be of service, then what it may have been after maybe about 3 months. They feel lifted, they feel more hopeful, they feel that the spiritual aspect does in fact exist, that God does care for them, that He hasn't forsaken them, because He's sent this team to come and care for them and spend time with them, and they definitely associate that with God and hope.
The opportunity to belong to circles of care, to come outside your comfort zone, whether it's a church and to be able to be in an organization that will allow me and my gift to help others. It feels good.
I envision a series of concentric circles where the friend or the care receiver is at the center, and then circles of care surround them, family members surround them, members of their faith communities or other organizations surround them, and they are embedded in a support system that gives health and life.
Circles of Care is a new initiative to train a network of volunteer support teams that will provide health information, practical caregiving, and spiritual support to African Americans living with cancer in Durham, Orange, and Wake counties. A Circle of Care support team is an intentional group of 6 to 12 volunteers organized to provide practical, emotional, and spiritual support for individuals and families facing advanced cancer. Using a team approach, community volunteers pool their talents, creativity, and time to offer more support than individuals can provide. Support teams bridge the gap between people who need the care and those who want to care. Most of us are familiar with the African proverb, "It takes a village to raise a child." It raises the importance of relationships and gives a sense of community. Circles of Care can create this sense of community for African Americans dealing with cancer. If your organization is interested, please contact Stacy Peacock at 919-402-1844.